So in today's class, we'll see some more additional features from Playwright, like how we can do grouping and how we can execute specific number of tests by adding tags. And also we'll see some kind of annotations provided in Playwright. So first we'll start with grouping. So basically what is grouping means? So we can group the similar type of tests together, right? So for example, if you want to make a sanity group of test and a smoke test or functional test or regression test. So we can group into one category based on the functionality or UI. So we can make different type of categories of tests and we can club together and we can make a group. And later, if you want to execute only those specific group of tests, and you can execute the entire group, whichever group of tests you want to execute, you can execute only the specific group of tests. So let's see how we can achieve the grouping concept. So let me just create a new test, new file. We call it as a grouping.spec.ts. And inside this, I'm going to create a few simple tests. I'm not going to write any application related statements. I'm just writing a simple test. Let me write it here. So before that, let me import some test tag. Okay, if you are using expect for accessions, we can just import this. Otherwise, this is also optional. Okay, so now I'm going to create a few number of tests. So let's say this is my test one and this is my test two. And similarly, I will also add some more tests. Let's say this is my test 3 and test 4. Test 3 and test 4. So you can just align them properly. Okay, so here you can say format documentation. So everything is formatted. So let us say have multiple tests created like this. I've not implemented any code inside this. I'm just printing some message. Okay. So assume these are the different tests. Even I'm not using any page picture inside the test, so I'm not passing any parameter. So if you want to use page or expert everything, then you can pass page picture like this. So normally we will pass the page picture, right? So if you are using inside the test, then you can pass it, or else you don't need to pass anything. So I'm showing you the how we can achieve the grouping concept, and same thing you can apply for everywhere. Okay, so let us see how 4 different tests we have created. Now, if I go back and execute, by default, all 4 tests will be executed. Now, let me run the test. Yeah, let me just execute this tests slash and say grouping spec.ts. And because I have not written any web related code, so I'm not specifying headed mode. So test nps playwright test grouping dot spec dot ts. So by default, this will execute all the 4 tests. Now you can look at this. See this 1, 4, 3, 2. So all the tests are successfully executed. 4 tests are executed. But if I look at this, it is not executed in the proper order, right? So you can see 1, 4, 3, 2. So by default, Playwright will execute test in parallel mode. Okay, by default, Playwright will execute tests in the parallel mode. So parallel is a default nature. So if you want to execute all the tests in proper order, in serial order, then you can go to config.ts file, and here you can find one option called fully parallel. So by default, this option is available in the Playwright config.ts. Only thing is you need to make it false. So true means it will follow the parallel. It will execute all the tests in parallel mode. And if I make it is false, then it will execute in serial mode. So once you change that option, again come back and run this one more time. And this time it will go and execute in serial mode. So again, 4 tests. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So by default, Playwright will execute all the tests in parallel mode. So you don't need to bother about the parallel execution. So by default, all the tests will be executed in parallel mode itself. And if you want to enable or disable, just go to config.ts file, and here you can make it false, or by default it is a true. Okay, just to remember this feature. This is very easy in Playwright, but another test engine or Selenium. So we need to configure test engine XML and so many things we need to do. But here in Playwright, default feature is available for parallel testing. So simple enable this option true. It will follow parallel testing. Make it false. It will follow serial execution. Okay. Now, so how we can group the tests? For example, let's say I have 4 tests here. All 4 tests are executed successfully. Now I want to group them. Let us say first 2 tests, I will make it as a one group, and another 2 tests, I will make it as a another group. So in Playwright, to make groups, we have to use something called describe. So test.describe. Okay. So for example, let's say I will create one simple describe block. Test.describe. Test.describe. And even this is also will take one parameter. Here we need to specify the group name. Let's say I will call it as a group 1. You can put any name. It is a random and you can use a define. And also it will take an asynchronous function, just like a test method. And I can make it as a async. And if you want to pass parameters here, you can pass it. If suppose if you are using page or something, or else you can leave it for now. And this is my arrow function. So we need to first create a describe block. So this describe block contains a multiple tests. So describe block can have a multiple test. So now I will put the first 2 tests inside the describe block. Okay, so now I put these 2 tests inside the first describe block. So this is a group 1. Now, similarly, I'll make another group, copy this, another describe block, and I call it as a group 2. And inside this, I will paste 3 and 4. So 3 and 4, I will keep inside the group 2. So now if I look at this, there are 2 groups I have created. So this is my group 1 and this is my group 2. So each group can have n number of tests. You can put n number of tests in each group. So now this is one group and this is one group. Now after making groups, again try to execute the test. I am not specifying any group name in the command. Just I'm directly executing grouping.spec.ts. Now just observe what will happen. Again, all 4 tests are successfully executed because we haven't specified anywhere like execute only this particular group of tests, right? So by default, all 4 tests are executed from all the groups. But I want to execute only specific group of tests. Like say I want to execute only group 1 or I want to execute only group 2 tests. So then how we can do is we can specify that group along with the command. So this is the normal command we use it, right? So to run the specific group of tests. So then we can simply use one option here after specifying the file name, give one space and say -grep. -grep. So grep is a command basically which will filter it based on the value which we provided. So -grep, and here we need to specify the name of the group. -grep and name of the group. Let's say I want to execute only group 1. First to describe log. Then you can specify group 1 like that. So when you specify this option additionally and edit mode and everything, you can continue -headed. So these things will be continued. Okay, so when I say -grep group 1, so this will execute only group 1 tests. Now just observe. So only 2 tests are running, which is test 1 and test 2. And similarly, if we want to execute only group 2, and we can say only test 3 and test 4 got executed. So this is a simple way we can achieve the grouping concept. But there is another concept called tagging. So that is a concept mostly we use. This is for only grouping the tests, right? But we can also make each test, we can also add a specific tag to each test. And whenever you want to run the specific test, we can execute. So that is another different concept is available. So we'll also discuss that tagging concept. So this is for grouping. So whenever you want to make some tests as a group, you can use this option. So grep is a command. It is a basically Unix command. Okay, grep, regular expression. It is basically comes under the regular expression. This is a Unix command or Linux command, which is they have introduced in Playwright. So in Unix, if you want to display the matching patterns, so then you will use a grep command there. So same thing they have introduced here. Okay. So this is very simple, a grouping concept. In the later on, I will discuss more about this. Okay. Next one. So simply what you can do for grouping, you need to create a describe block, test.describe. Inside this, you can put all the tests, whatever you want. So that will become one group. And later on, if you want to execute a specific group of tests, you can specify the group inside the grep. So that will execute the group of tests. Now, so let us see another concept called hooks. There is another concept called hooks, Hooks. So what is the use of hooks and how we can use? Very important topic in Playwright. Even in the coming sessions project framework also, we'll try to use it. So basically, what is the use of hooks? When to go for hooks? Okay, so basically the hooks we can use for manage how and when tests are executed. Okay, so how and when are executed. Like for example, let me tell you one example. Let's say for every test, I want to launch the URL, right? And that we can create a separate test and that we can reuse for every test. So we can use a different kind of hooks for like that. For example, let's say, so in TestNG, you have seen something called annotations concept, right? So before test, after test, before method, after method. It is also same kind of a concept in Playwright. So in the Playwright, what hooks will do? For example, let's say I have multiple tests like this. In each and every step, I should do some kind of steps. I just perform certain action and certain exertions. So I have to execute some step for every test before starting every test. Or I want to execute some step after completion of every step, right? So these two steps are repeating for every step. So instead of writing the two steps in every test, we can separate them in a hooks. By using hook methods, we can separate them so that these steps will be executed for every test before and after every test. So this we can achieve by using hooks concept, and it is also through which we can also achieve the reusability concept. So let me show you how we can use hooks practically. And there are multiple hooks methods are provided by Playwright, like before all, after all, before each, after each. These are the four different methods are provided in Playwright. So now we'll see how we can use those hooks concept. Very simple and very easy. Just try to understand this. Next, let me create a new file. I'll call it as hooks.spec.ts. hooks.spec.ts. Okay, so now what I will do is I will just create simple tests. Let's say whatever test we have created in the previous, I'm just copying the same test here. So let us try to import the test also. Okay, now I have taken 4 different tests. Test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4. Now, before executing every test, I want to execute certain step. So for example, let's say step 1 and step 2. So before executing every test, I want to execute my step 1. And after completion of every test, then I want to execute another step. So normally what you will do, you will write this step in the test 1 like this, and you will put here. And same thing you will repeat for every test. So here you will say step 1, and again you will repeat the step 2 like this. So let us say login and logout. Okay, so let us say login and logout. So for every test, before executing the steps, you need to do login. And after completion of the step, you need to do logout. And again for test 2 also, again you need to do login. And after completion of all the tests, you need to do logout. So for every test, you have to do login and logout. So instead of writing the code for login and logout for every test, you can separate them into another method which is called as a hook. So for example, I want to execute this login before every test. So to specify that, we use a hook called before each. Before each means that method will execute before for every test, before each test. Okay, so for example, let's say I remove this one for now. So I have 4 tests I have created. Now I want to execute certain things before every test. Before each test, I want to execute that. So for that, we can use one hook called test dot before each. Before each, only 4 hooks are there. Before each, after each, before all, after all. So before each. So in the before each, again, we need to pass one asynchronous function. So again, if you want to specify the description, you can specify. So you can say, so before each. So you can write one description and comma. And this is again asynchronous function, then arrow function. So this is before each block. And this is optional. The title is optional. Even for tests also, titles are optional, but you can specify that. So what is this before each method will do? This before each method will execute before every test. Before every test. So for example, let me write something here. Console.log off. I will name it as this is before each. Before each. And similarly, after completion of every test, I want to execute another step. So that you can keep it inside the after each. After each. So this is after each. Okay, now we'll see how it is going to execute. So now just observe, I have written 4 tests and I have added 2 different hooks. One is before each, test dot before each, other one is test dot after each. So before each method will run multiple times. Before every test, let's say I have a 4 tests. So this before each method will execute 4 times. And after each method will execute also 4 times. But when the before each method will execute, before starting the test methods. Each test method, but after each will execute after completion of each test method. Okay, so let's see the execution and you will understand this. Go to new terminal and run the test. Grouping.spec.ts. Instead of that, I can say hooks.spec.ts. Right, now see the output here. So first before each and test is got executed and after each. This is one test actually. Now again before each, test 2 and after each. Again before each, test 3 after each. And before each, test 4 and after each. So what we have understood based on this execution, so before each method will run multiple times. Before every test, you can look at this. Before every test, the before each method will execute. And after each method will execute after completion of every test. After completion of every test, after each method will execute. So these are the 2 hooks. And apart from this, we also have a before all, after all. Before all, after all. So let me write that one also. So test dot before all. And you can give some name. I'll say before all. And asynchronous function. As usual, how the test method will create exactly same way we can create. This is the asynchronous function. Now inside this, I'm writing console.log off. This is before all. Okay, this is before all. And similarly, we also have a after all. Before all and after all. This is after all. Now, so when these hooks will be executed. So before all hook will be executed only once before starting all the tests. And after all will execute only once after completion of all the tests. Because that is a major difference. Okay. So before all will execute only once before starting all the tests. Only once. And after all also will execute only once after completion of all the tests. Right. So let me see the execution. Right. You can just look at the output. By seeing the output, you can just observe how it is executed. So first before all, only once before starting all other stuff. Now after all executed at the end, because after completion of everything, finally the all method is executed. This is after all method. And in between again, before each, after each got executed for every test. Before each, after each is got executed for every test. Okay, so this is the way we can control the order. So if there are any reusable steps, then you can keep them most of the time. So before all and after all. Okay, so what is the real use case here? So most of the times we will keep the reusable steps. For example, login is required for every test. Login is required for every test. So then you can put that login steps inside the before each. And after completion of test, then we can log out from application. That is also required for every test. So then logout steps you can include in the after each. So apart from that, so suppose if there are any settings are required for the test, for all the tests required certain settings, and those things we can put in the before all. Let us say some database connection is creating, or we are trying to read some external file, some Excel file or JSON file. We need to open the file. So those type of scripts we can keep inside the before all. So after completion of all the test steps, then we can disconnect the database or we can disconnect the external file. So such type of scripts we can keep inside the after all. So these are the different hooks are available. Only 4 hooks: before all, after all, before each, and after each. Okay. So let me show you another example how we can use hooks. This time I will try to write some automation script. Let me close this. Go and create another file. I'll name it as hooks2.spec.ts. This is another one. So this time what I will do is I will create a few number of tests. And then we will try to apply hooks concept. Okay, so first let me try to import test and expect. Okay, so now I'm going to create a few tests here. My first test is we will add hooks later, but before that, let me start writing the tests. So test. So I will launch one application, e-commerce application. There on the home page, I will find number of products. So that I will write one test. And then adding product to the cart, I will create another test. So there are 2 different tests I'm going to create. So let me show you the flow. Go to this application. And first we need to start with the login. So I'm going to write 2 different tests. Okay, so let me try to write here. So my requirement is like this. First, I want to open the application. And after open the application, and then I want to perform the login. And inside the login, once the login is successful, then I will try to find a number of products. This is actual test. And after finding number of products, after a session, I will log out from application. And this is actually one test combinedly. Now, after logout, again, I will try to log in. And then I will add product to the cart. This is another test. And after that, again, I will log out. And once both the tests are completed, finally, I will close my application. So this is my test sequence. Now, if I look at this, there are certain things are repeating, login and logout. So actually find products is an actual test, add product to the cart is an actual test. These are the 2 actual tests. And login and logout are repeating. So I will make the login and logout as before each and after each. And I will open application only once. And after execution of everything, I will close my application only once. So that I will make it as a before all, after all. Okay, this is going to be before all. Close application is going to be before, after all. Okay, so let's make it happen through your code. So first of all, let us write a 2 tests. So open app. So first we will implement all the methods, and after that we will try to add hooks. First, open all. Open all, I will execute only once before starting all the tests. So what is a hook we can use for this? We can use before all. Before all hook we can use. So let me try to use before all here. Test dot before all, test dot before all. And you can provide some name to this. What I can do in this, I'm just opening the application. So I can just provide that name, open app. And again, same, how we will create a test in the same way, we will create the test async. And this is my arrow function. So this is a before all method. In this, I will try to launch my application. So to launch my application, what is required? Page picture is required. Page picture is required. So now let us see, I'm passing the page here. For example, I'm passing the page. So by using the page picture, I can do that, right? I say await, go to await page dot go to, and here you can specify the URL of the application like this. Okay, so this is before all. Okay, fine. But we are using the page picture local here, right? So this is a page picture. Suppose tomorrow I have created another test. For example, I'm creating after all, before all, after all. So here also we are passing another page picture, for example. So then what is the problem in this? Do you have any problem in this? So in the first hook method, I'm trying to use one page. Another hook, I'm trying to use another page instance. So both will be different actually. So both are referring at two different page instances. But we need to do everything on one single page, right? So whatever page picture we are using, not only the before all and after all, even in the test methods also, the same page we have to refer throughout the tests. Throughout all the tests, we have to refer only single page. Same page we have to refer. Same page picture we need to refer. Right. So if you are using different pages in the different methods, there will be conflict. So all the tests will be executed on the same page picture. So to avoid this conflict or ambiguity, what we can do is we will make the page as a global. Means that is accessible for all the tests, including hooks. So how we can make the pages global? Here I can create a simple variable called let page, and the type of the page is page. That's it. And again, this page we have to import. The page we have to import. The page picture we need to import. Now this page we have to create. We have to create the page here. So to create the page, what is required? How we can create the page? New page. Browser is required. So from the browser, we can create a page. From the browser, we can create the context. From the context, we can create the page. So in the before all, I will pass a browser. Instead of page, I'm taking browser. So because from the browser, I can create a context and new page. So let me take the browser dot new context or new page. So when I create a new page, by default, the context also will be created. So if you want to create your own new context, you can create. From the context, again, you can create a new page. So I'm creating the new page, and this page I will assign to the page variable. Observe carefully. So here I've created one page variable as this is a global variable. This I make it as a global. Why? Because we need to use the same page for all the tests. Okay. Now inside this, what I'm doing, I'm just taking browser, and from the browser, I'm creating the new page that I'm storing into the page. I'm storing into the page. So this new page will return the promise. So we need to put await here. Right. So now the same page we can refer in all the tests. So in that case, you no need to pass page here. So whatever page we have created here, the same page we can refer in every test. So this is a important tip. Otherwise, there will be a conflict. So we need to use the same page picture across all the tests. Okay. So we need to make the page as a global. And now we will assign the value into the page inside the test method. And the same page variable I can use in every test. So every test you don't need to pass page picture now, because we already assigned the page here itself. Okay, so this is my before all, the first one. Open all is done. Now after all, so close app. So this I will make it as a after all method, because only once I want to execute this. Okay, so if you want to execute this close app, so you can just here make it as a close. So here we no need to pass page. The same page I'm going to use inside the after all. So before all, after all, both have done. So what is the next step? So this is done and this is the done. So now we need to implement login and logout, which we can use for before each and after test. So login and logout we will implement now. So I'll implement the login. So what is login, logout? Login, I will make it as a before each. And do we need to write login 2 times? Do we need to write logout 2 times? No, only once we will write, and that will execute multiple times automatically. So logout also I will create as after each, before each and after each. So let's create login and logout. So now test dot before each, test dot before each, and this is a login actually. So I can just name it as a login, and again asynchronous function. Do we need to pass page here inside this? No, we don't need to pass page because the same page we can use, same page, the global variable we can use. So page dot, and here we need to do the login part, right? So we need to find the locators and we can pass some data. So await page dot locator, because we already launched the web page. Only thing is we need to directly interact with the elements. So here we need to we need to click on the login link here. So to click on the login link, inspect the login, and the login to ID is available. Go back and write the ID /ID dot click. Done. So once you click on the login, so then you will see the login window. So we need to provide a username and password. So import this, and ID is available for username. So again, await page dot locator, specify this locator and say hash because it is an ID. And here we need to pass username. So here I'm passing my username. So second step. So after that, password. So inspect this element. Login password is my ID. And the next statement, await page dot locator. And this is again ID of the password, and then dot fill. I can provide the password test type 1, 2, 3. Right. So after that, we need to click on the login. Inspect this login. So for the login, we don't have anything. So there is only one attribute called on click login is available. So go to selector hub. I'm taking this one to locate the login button. So again, await page dot locator login dot click. And we should put inside the double quotes because single quote inside the single quote not allowed. Okay, perfect. So now I have done 4 steps login. So I click on the login to button and then username, password, and then click on the login. So these are the steps we need to perform for the login, right? And after the click on that, I'll just wait for a few seconds to see to successful login. I say wait for timeout. I can just put some 2 seconds are enough. Okay, so now I have implemented login. So this I want to execute multiple times. So the login I want to execute before products, before finding the products, and before add product to the cart. So similarly, let us try to add logout also. So order of writing the methods are not important. So whichever order you want to write, you can put. So you can put, but first you can write before each, after each, and later you can implement these 2 methods. Order is not important. Okay. Now, then I will write another test, another after each. So what you will do after each? After each. What is an action we do after each? So before each and after each, we need to log out. So after each, we need to log out. So let me try to put the logout steps here. Again, we don't need to pass the page, same page we are referring. So how we can do the logout? So after successful login, so to perform the logout, you need to just click on the logout link. Just you need to click on the logout link. So inspect this logout, and for the logout, ID is available, logout 2. So find that option, await page dot locator hash ID dot click. So this will perform the logout. Okay. Right. So now we have implemented required hooks methods. So open app and close app, login and logout. So what else is pending? Test methods we need to implement. Find products on the home page, and then we will try to add one product to the cart. So let me add two different tests. So here I'm trying to add two different tests. Find a number of products and add product to the cart. So these are the two different tests I'm adding. So this is one test, guys. So find a number of products. So what I'm doing is, as soon as login is already done here. So once the login, by using this locator, I'm capturing all the products from the home page. So this is my home page, right? Once you successfully log in, you will see these products. Now, if you try to use this particular locator, so this will able to capture all the product titles. So once you get a number of products, you can find how many are there. So here I'm doing it. First, I'm capturing all the products. And because this product is an array, so we can use count method. So what this will return? This will return a locator, not an array. If you say all, then it will return an array, right? Then you can use length here instead of count. But I want to add assertion here. So instead of that, I'm just returning all the products and products dot count. So this will exactly return the how many products are there. I'm printing number of products, and then I'm adding one assertion. Expect products to have count should be 9. So this is one test. Another test is add a product to the cart. So I'm just clicking on this product, the first product, Samsung Galaxy S6. Once you click on the product, now the product is added to the cart here. So you will get this one. So it is still not added. So once you get this, then we can click on the add to cart. So once you click on add to cart, it will give you one pop-up. Just observe. See, in the pop-up, what is the message we have? Product added. So this we need to validate. And after validation of this message in the pop-up, then we have to close it. So this is my test. So for that, how we can handle the pop-up, we have seen in the previous class. We need to trigger an event. So what is an event we have to trigger? Dialog event we have to trigger. Dialog, which is basically a dialog. So first we click on the product, and then once you click on this, which will open the product. So for example, let's go back again and go to the home page. So I'm just clicking on the product. So when you click on this button, then dialog will appear. Right. So if you want to trigger the dialog event, what is the button we have to click? This is the button I want to click. So in the event listener, we have to keep both the statements. Clicking on the button and then capture this dialog. So both I want to execute parallelly. So what is this method we have to use to run the two statements parallelly? Page dot once. So this is the actual message we want to validate on the dialog. And this will perform the click action on the add to cart. So add to cart. So click action will trigger the dialog. So this is the before clicking the button, we need to specify this page dot once. Okay, and we no need to accept or dismiss because we don't have anything, because this will automatically handle this. Okay, button is handle this. Okay, so these are the two statements I have directly handled using page dot on. So because we already seen this in the previous classes, I think I don't need to repeat this. So this is the dialog handle. And after that, we are clicking on the button. So what is this button? And once you click on add card, so this will be open the pop-up. I think that is enough. Let me inspect. So this is the button actually. So this is the button. So once you click on the button, then it will open. So before clicking on the button, we need to trigger this event. Okay, so before clicking on the button, we need to trigger this event. So from the dialog, we are capturing the message. Also, we are accepting the dialog. So both the statements we are executing at the same time using page dot once. Okay, so this is the test, guys. So we have written two tests, and I think we have finished this. So open app will execute before all the tests. Close app will execute after completion of all the tests. And login logout will execute before and after each test. And finally, our test will be completed. So what is the additional thing we have done here is we make page as a global variable so that we can refer the same page in all our methods. Okay, this is actually we will implement the hooks concept. So what is an advantage of this hooks concept? So we no need to repeat the same code again. So you can see as per the test login and logout, we have to repeat multiple times, but we need to just write only once, make them as a before each and after each. So they will execute multiple times. Okay. So now let me run this. Go to terminal, new terminal, and I can say hooks 2.spec.ts. And because we are trying to do UI actions, I will put headed mode. Okay. So now two tests are running. So this is my first test, login. I think executed everything. See, two tests are successfully executed. And let me show the report npx playwright show hyphen report. Right. So these are the two tests successfully executed. So this is my first test. So these are the steps I have executed before hooks and after hooks. See, before hooks, these are the two hooks are executed. After test is completed, after hooks, this login is got executed. And you can look at the second one. Before hooks, the login is got executed. After hooks, closing app is executed because closing app will execute at the end. Okay, so two tests are passed and all tests are executed. So this is how we can work with the hooks concept. So very useful even in the framework also, we try to use this hooks concept. It is just similar to annotations concept in TestNG. Okay. Now, so can we group the tests? So here I'm using hooks concept. Along with this, I want to group the test. For example, I have a test. There are two tests are there. I want to make both the tests in one single group. Then what you can do. So page dot once we don't use here. Page dot on. What is page dot on will do? In the last class, we have seen how to handle the dialogues. Page dot on. So whenever you want to run two statements parallelly, okay, then we have to, and both the statements are returning the promises. In that case, we can put inside the page dot once or page dot on. So even page dot on is also okay. So page dot on method emit when the JavaScript dialogues appear, such as alert, prompt, confirm, or before loaded. So this is also doing the same thing. Listeners are present, all dialogues automatically dismissed. And when I say page dot once, page dot on, page dot once, and this is also doing the same thing, guys. Adds an event listener that will be automatically removed after it triggered once. And I don't see any much difference. You can use page dot on or else page dot once. So this is another method which is available. It put the cursor and it will show you the descriptions. Maybe there will be some slight difference. I think this is returning any. Page dot on. This is also returning any. Okay, this is the same syntax it is giving. Page dot once also it is giving the same syntax. I don't think any difference adds any event listener that will be automatically removed after it is triggered once. Okay. Yeah, as of now, I don't see any difference, guys. I will find out. So currently we can use either page dot on or page dot once. So anything is fine. So let me run it once again. Okay, perfectly working. So both are working. You can use either page dot on or page dot once. I think earlier we have used page dot on method to handle the dialog windows, pages and all. Okay, so now I want to make the groups. So anyway, we already added hooks, but I want to make these two tests in the single group. So then how we can add group here by using describe. I can say test dot describe, and I can give any name to the group, or whatever name you want to give, you can just give some name to the group, or else even you can leave it empty. Okay, so I can say my group, and then arrow function, which is also a asynchronous function. So now I will keep both the tests inside the group. I will make both the test inside the group. So now I make it as a group. So now just observe, I put all hooks method outside of the group. I put all hooks method outside of the group, but I put only test method inside the group. Now will it work in that way? So I put all the hooks methods outside of the group, but I put test methods inside of the group. Will it work? Yes. So it doesn't matter whether the tests are part of the group or not. It will automatically access all the hooks methods wherever you created. So there is no difference, you see. And you can also put all hooks method inside the group also. Inside the group also. But there is a difference, I'll tell you. Okay, now both the tests are successfully executed. Now, if you put all hooks method outside of the group, suppose tomorrow if you added another group like this, you have added another group like this, then the hooks methods are applicable for other groups also, because I created this hooks method outside of the group. So these hooks methods are applicable for all the groups. Suppose if you create all the hooks methods inside the describe block or inside the group itself, then you cannot use those hooks methods outside of the group. Suppose I have created two different groups and I put all the hooks method inside first group, but I cannot use the same thing in the second group. That is a problem. So what is the best practice is always keep all hooks methods outside of the group. Keep all hooks methods outside of the group. That is recommended. Okay. So understood everyone. So how we can use hooks before all and after all, before each and every each, before each and after each. These are the only 4 type of hooks available in Playwright. Also, we have seen the combination group with hooks, right? No. So apart from this, we also have Playwright provided something called annotations. And don't confuse, in TestNG annotations are different. So TestNG annotations are almost similar to hooks concept in Playwright. But in hooks itself is provided a separate type of annotations. Annotations are there. So we'll see what are the annotations provided in Playwright. Annotations. So basically annotations will decide, like it will basically control the execution of the test run. So we can intentionally pass the test, fail the test, skip the test. We can do whatever you want by using annotations. So there are different annotations are there. Like we have only annotation, we can skip annotation we have. And also we have something called fail annotation, fix me annotation, slow annotation. There are 5 to 6 annotations are there. So let me discuss how we can use those annotations and where we can use. Let's create another file. I will name it as annotations, new file, annotations and dot spec dot ts. Okay. So in this, I'm going to create few number of tests, and then we will try to add uh, annotations. Okay. So first we will try to implement, we'll try to import this. So there are different type of annotations are there. So the first annotation only, we already seen that annotation earlier. Skip, and we also have a fail annotation. Also we have a fix me annotation. Fail, skip, fail, fix me, and we also have slow. So these are the 5 types of annotations we have. So let us see how we can use them. So for that, I'm writing one simple test. Let us say I'm writing one simple test. So this is a simple test. So if I write this test, when I run this test will run normally, right? Let's make it as a test 1. Okay, let's say simple test one. So what I'm doing in the test, I'm launching the Google page. I'm verifying that title is present or not. Similarly, I will try to create another test. Let's make it as a test 2. And inside the test 2, I will write a few more statements. And I'll write another statement. Same statements I have written. So now let us assume there are 2 tests I've created. So here I'm launching the page and title I'm verifying. Here also I'm launching the page, title I'm verifying. Let us assume I have a 2 tests. Now when I run this, by default, how many tests will be executed? Obviously, 2 tests will be executed. Say annotations. So by default, both the tests are executed, test 1 and test 2. So both are executed, both are passed. Now I have multiple tests, but I want to execute only specific test. I just want to focus only on one specific test. I say I want to execute only test 1. So simply you can say add one annotation called only. So even though you have 100 tests in your file, only the one test will be executed. Only one test will be executed, and make sure you should not put this annotation for any other test. Suppose if you put this annotation for other also, then what will happen? What will happen? Both will execute. Both will execute. But that's not our expectations. What is the purpose of using only? I want to execute only specific test. So whichever test you want to execute, you can specify that annotation like this. Test dot only. If you have multiple, it will execute only specific test. Now we can execute this. It will run only one single test. So only one test is got executed and it is passed. So that is the uses of only. Only. Next, I have another thing called skip. For example, I have a 2 tests. This is the 1 and this is the 2. I will make this as a skip. Let's say dot skip. Dot skip. So then what will happen? So the first method will obviously will execute, and the second one will automatically skip. It won't be executed. It will simply skip it. Okay, this test will be skipped. So we are intentionally skipping the test. I don't want to execute this. For example, I have 10 tests. Let us say in the 10th test, let us few of the tests are not still completed. So I want to just skip them. So how we can do that? By adding skip. So when I run this time, only test 1 will be executed and the second test 2 will be skipped. So test 1 is got executed passed and 1 is got skipped. 1 passed, 1 is got skipped. So this is intentionally skipped the test. And there is another approach using skip based on the condition also we can skip the test. For example, let me write another test here. This is also skip and here I make it as a test 3. So I don't use skip method here. By default, what will happen? The test will be executed. The test will be executed. But I want to skip the test based on certain condition. Skip the test based on certain condition. Skip the test based on some condition. So let us say I'm passing some page along with the browser also. Along with the browser. So 2 parameters I'm passing. Inside this, I will put one condition. So what is the condition? Skip this particular test. Skip this particular test if the browser is Firefox or browser is Chrome. Okay, so how we can put the condition? You can simply say, you can put whatever condition you want. So you can write like this, test.skip and put some condition. Okay, so test.skip, put some condition. So for example, even if you don't pass any browser, you can put a normal condition here. So test.skip and 1 equal to 2. 1 equal to 2. Is it allowed? Skip method allowed or not? Skip. Okay, it is allowed. Playwright work option, skip condition, boolean, description, and string. So there are multiple parameters on there. So let me try to put in the string format. And no, not allowed. So, okay, so let me put like this, 1 equal to 2. This is my first parameter condition. And the second parameter should be some description you can add. Let me write something, not matching, or you can say condition false. Condition not matching, and then put semicolon. So what is the problem in this? The comparison appears to be unintentional because the types 1 and 2 have no overlap. Okay. So normal conditions are not allowed, guys. We need to put the condition based on the parameters which we passed. So for example, let me just pass browser also. This is the actual real use case. So now I want to skip the test if the browser is equal to Chromium or browser equal to Firefox, something like that. So that you can specify. So there's a browser name. So browser name, actually the browser name is, okay, just a second. Whatever the parameter we are passing, we need to use the same parameter. So for example, along with the page, let us take browser name. So this is user defined parameter. Okay, this is not a feature. Browser name is not a feature. So if you take this browser name here, browser name equal to Firefox. Okay, the browser name is equal to Firefox. So then you can skip this. So this particular test will be skipped if the browser name equal to Firefox. Let's say test skip if browser is Firefox. So I put certain condition here. So based on the condition also, we can skip the test. Okay, so I just say skip test. If I look at this browser name, it is just like a page. So page is a basically parameter, right? So similarly, browser name is also. So name of the browser that runs the test. So default value is a Chromium. Most of the times you should set the browser name in your test.config. So whatever browser name we provided in the config file, you can just go back in here. So the same browser name, it will be taken. So if I look at this, scroll down here. So these are the browser names, name equal to Chromium, name equal to Firefox. So if you want to refer this variable names, we use this variable. So this is browser name is a predefined, guys. So this is not user defined, sorry. So this is a predefined. And this is actually representing the browser name which we configured in the configuration file. Okay, this will come from there. Similarly, just like a page. So now I'm comparing this browser name equal to Firefox, then skip the test. So by default, what is the value of the browser name? Chrome. So if it is a Chrome, it will not skip. If it is a Firefox, then only it will skip. So by default, I have configured Chromium here. So let me pass Chromium and see whether it's skipping or not. I say Chromium. Now let us see whether it is skipping or not. Test 3. Okay. So if the browser name equal to Chromium, then this step method will be skipped. Test 3 will be skipped. Now execute. So it won't accept numbers or anything. Yeah, now you can see the first one is passed and there are two tests which are skipped. So this one is already skipped and this is also be skipped based on the condition. So whatever parameters we define here, we will get the values from this from the configuration property file. From the config.ts file, we can pass the values into these variables. Okay. So we take this browser name from the config file, and if the browser name equal to Chromium, then skip it. Suppose I'm passing something else. Let's say Firefox. Will it skip now? No, because the condition is not met. Because we are passing browser name is equal to Chromium and comparing with the Firefox. So this time it won't skip. This time it won't skip. So it will execute all the tests. So now you can see only one test is got skipped, which is this one. And this one is not skipped. So two passed, only one is got skipped. So this is normal skip. This is based on the condition we can skip the test. So if you want to skip the test based on the condition, then inside the test, you need to use test.skip. But intentionally you want to skip the test without having any condition, then you can put the skip along with the test. So this is one flavor. This is another flavor. Okay. So here Which only. So I just remove the only actually because it will run only this particular test. So for now, I just remove only. And here we have seen skip. And this is also skip based on the condition. Based on the condition. Okay. Now, so after that, what is the next thing? Failed. So we can also intentionally fail the test. We can also intentionally fail the test. So for example, let me take the same test again. We can fail the test. So simply what we can do, we can put fail annotation. Let me make it as a 4. Test 4. Intentionally failing the test. But anyway, internally, if the statements or assertions are not matching, definitely that will fail. But before that, without checking anything, directly, I'm intentionally failing the test. So for that, you can use simply fail. So this is expected to fail. I just want to fail the test. So that's the reason I just put fail. Okay, so sometimes if we have any flaky test, so in those cases, you can mark this as a fail so that it will not be participate. It will just simply fail. And let me run it. So what will happen for the failure test? So 4 tests are executing, all are running. Okay, now you can see one is got failed. So test 4 is got failed because we have intentionally failed it. Okay, next one, fix me. Suppose you have written, you have implemented some test. Okay, but that is also having some issues. Let us say that method is having some issues. Then we can make that as a fix. You can mark the test that needs to be fixing. Okay, let me write the same test once again. Fix me. How exactly this will work, I'll tell you. So here, instead of fail, then say fix me, test 5, and same URL and everything. So now I'm not putting any assertion. Let us assume we need to put some assertion later. So, but still we have not implemented. No assertion. That means you still need to implement this. There is no assertion so far. So if I run the test, then what will happen? Fix me. So this test is not still completed. Just it will open the URL. There is no assertion, nothing. Okay, let me run the test and see what will happen. So totally 5 tests are running. It is launching all the pages. All right, now see the results. See the results. Which one we fixed? Test 5. So if I look at all tests, 1, 3, 4. What about the 2? 2 is got skipped already. Okay, and see the report. Passed. So test 1, test 3 has got passed. So what is the test 3 here? Test 3 is okay. Based on the condition, we skipped here. So this is a failure case. Now this is a fail actually. So test 4, we intentionally failed. Sorry, test 4 is a fail case. Okay, intentionally failed. The next one is what? Fix me. So test 5 is a fix me. Where it is? Here it is not there. Here it is also not there. Here it is not there. Here it is there. The skipped test 5 is got created. So fix me is also basically skipping the test because it is still not completed. So when we need to specify the fix me, if the test is not completed or it is partially completed. So if you partially completed, do you want to run the test? No, right? If the test is completely done, then we will run the test normally. But if it is partially completed, we don't run. But we have added the test in the file. So at the runtime, what we can do, we can simply say fix me. So when I say fix me, this test also will be skipped. Just like a normal skip, it will also skip. So there is no much difference for the skip and this one. So both will be skipped. But the skip method is what? We have implemented the entire test, but still we are intentionally skipping it. But here, we are skipping the test since we have not implemented completely. So that is a difference. So this is a fix me. Next one, slow. Suppose if you want to run the test by taking more time, Like by default, timeout will follow, right? The default timeout is default timeout of action is what? 30 seconds. The default timeout for expect is what? 5 seconds. For the test also, the entire test also, there is a timeout. That is also 30 seconds. But if you want to make it triple, like 90, then we can make it as a slow. So for that, what I can do is I will also add the same test once again. And instead of fail, I will make it as a slow. This is my test 5. And now test 5 already there. So same name we cannot use, guys. Okay. So every test, whatever name we provided, that is a uniquely we need to provide. So let's say test 6. Test.slow. Okay. One more thing, guys. Sorry. We should not put test.slow here. So we need to use test.slow inside the test. Inside the test here. Test.slow. And this will automatically triple the default timeout. Triple the default timeout. That means what is the default? The default is 30 seconds. 30 seconds. And after tripling, it will become 90 seconds. So this is the maximum timeout it will wait to test complete. Okay, this is a slow. Try to run it again. So totally 6 tests we are running. It is going very faster. Okay. Yeah. Now this is the report. So these are the all tests we have executed. 1, 2 is basically skipped actually. 3, 4, 4 we have failed. 6. And there are 2 tests are skipped. 2 anyway we skipped. Test 5 is a fix me. So fix me is also skipped. There is only 1 failure test. 3 passed and only all. All means everything will be shown here. Okay, so this is slow. Slow means it will just take maximum 90 seconds. It will take maximum 90 seconds of time to test complete. This will triple the timeout. So this is optional to use because you will have any default timeout 30 seconds for actions and 5 seconds for expectation. So if you need much timeout, then you can specify that in the configuration file directly. But triple the timeout means it is very huge, right? So it will try to reduce the performance of your script. So try to avoid this method. So this is not recommended most of the times. So these are all called annotations, different annotations provided in Playwright. Only skip, fail, fix me, and slow. Okay. So you can apply all these annotations for group also. For the group also, you can apply all these annotations. Okay, so I would like to skip the group of tests or more than one test. How can we do it? So you can just use a simple annotation. So whichever group or whichever test you want to skip it, you can just use the skip. But most of the times we use these annotations for the test level. If you want to skip the group, first of all, you don't specify the group at the runtime. So in the previously, I have shown you to run the specific group, we have to specify the name, right? So whatever name is specified, only that particular group will be executed. So there is no question of skipping the group actually. There is no question of skipping the group. Because if whatever group name you provided at the runtime, only that particular group will be executed. So it won't execute all the groups. By default, it will execute all the groups. But if you want to execute specific group, you can specify that. So on that concept, let's say you have a 5 groups and you are executing only first group. Rest of 3 groups, by default, it will be skipped. So you don't need to specify the skip for the groups. Okay, so that is a concept here. All right, so understood everyone how we can use these annotations for the tests. Annotations are applicable for the tests. I don't think it will work for the groups. So let me check. So where it is a groups. Okay, test.describe. Okay, I think it is working fine. Yeah, you can apply all the annotations for groups also. You can apply all annotations for groups also. For describe block also, you can apply. But In the groups concept, you won't apply for that, because if you have a multiple group, simply you can specify the group name, whatever you want to run through command prompt, and that will execute. So rest of them by default, it will be skipped. So you don't need to write specifically skip. Okay, you guys can explore this. So all these things will work for groups also, right? So these are all different annotations are provided in Playwright. So fix me, basically, we will specify that annotation if the test is still not completed. Okay, so suppose if test is not completed, but still the test is a part of your file, it is not still completed, then you can make that as a fix me. Then what will happen? This particular test will be skipped. So fix me and skip almost similar. The only one difference is in the skip, it will automatically skip. Intentionally, we are skipping the test, even though we completed the entire stuff, completed the entire test. But in the fix me, still it is under progress, still it is under development. In that case, we can make it as a fix me. So that will also skip it. Okay, this is test 5. Okay, so some of compulsory we will use sometimes, only we will use very regularly. Skip is also will use very regularly, but rest of them are optional. So depends upon your requirement and condition, you can choose them. Suppose if you want to intentionally fail the test, or you are expecting the test 4 should be failed, then you can make it as a fail. Okay, so but most of the times we use only skip and then fail. Fail is also very rarely we use, only and skip. So these are the two annotations most of the times we use it. And if there are any tests which are still under progress, but you don't want to run the test in the runtime, but it will show you in the report. Okay, this entry will be shown in the report, but still that is skipped. It is not completely executed because it is under in progress. It is not completed the test. So in that case, you can specify fix me. Okay, so I will provide the detailed documentation for each annotation. Just you can read some documentation, then you will understand exactly where we can use these annotations. All right, so far we have seen grouping concept, hooks, and then annotation. The next concept is tagging. So can we use grouping mechanism for skipping multiple cases at the same time? Yes, you can also combine all these topics. I'm just explaining them independently. You can also use combination. So even in the grouping also, you can specify the test fail, test fix me, test to slow. All annotations will work for test levels. Okay. Yes. So now let us move on to the last word, tagging. So tagging is another important topic. We'll see the tagging concept. So tagging is nothing but it is also a kind of a grouping, but we will do test level tagging. So for every test, we will specify some tag. So where it is required. Let us say you have a multiple tests. Let me create another test. Tagging.spec.ts. Okay, so let us say I have multiple tests. Okay, so let's say test 1, test 2, test 3, and so on. Test 1, test 2, and test 3, so on. So now for every test, I will make it as a different tag. I will give a different tag. For example, let's say this is a sanity. This test comes under the sanity. This test comes under the regression. And again, this test comes under the regression or sanity. So like that. So I will give one simple tag for every test. Sometimes one test can have a single tag or multiple tags. For example, test 2 comes under both sanity and regression. And test 3 comes under only regression. I will execute this only as part of regression. Right. So like this, for every test, we can provide some tag. So what is the use of this tag? So later, if we want to run only sanity if we want to run, let's say I have a 10 different tests. Among those 10 different tests, I want to run only sanity tests or the tests which are tagged with the sanity. Then I can run only sanity tests. or you can run only regression, or you can run the test which are belongs to both sanity and regression. Or sometimes the test belongs to sanity, but it should not belongs to regression. We can filter in whichever way you want. So using tags, it is possible. Using tags, it is possible. So let us see how we can achieve this tagging concept. So what I'll do is I will try to create few tests and then we will try to do a tagging concept. So for that, I'm simply writing one simple test. And if you want to add tags, how we can add? There are two different approaches to adding the tags. So let us see, I have added one simple test here. And so let me remove for now. Okay, this is simple test I have added. So by default, what this test will do, it will check the title of the page as soon as it is launched. Check the title of the home page. So when you run the test, by default, the test will be executed. So when I run this, how we can run the test? You can simply say tagging spec.ts. Tagging spec.ts. So when I run the test, obviously the test will be executed. And I have not specified any tag to this and my test is got passed. Now I want to add some tag to this test. So I want to make this test as a sanity or a regression or both sanity and regression. So then how we can make it as happen? This is the actual title. So in the title, you can before or after or wherever you want, you can just add at the rate sanity. Give some space. So this is actually a tag. This is called as a tag. And suppose if my test is added to two different category, even regression, then give one space and add regression like that. So the tag name is user defined. You can put ABC or XYZ also. Okay, these names are user defined. So now this particular test is belongs to both sanity and regression. This is one approach. So there is another approach. Most of the times we don't prefer this one. And there is another approach. So to define the tag, you can write the same test. Instead of writing the tags here, first you specify the title. And after specify the title, you can add one parameter here before sync. So this is the title of the test. After completion of the title, comma, in the curly braces, you can put the tag. Let's say tag colon sanity like this and end with the comma. So this is another way we can make the test is comes under a particular tag. So this is the title of the test and this is the tag which we have assigned to the test and comma and followed by asynchronous function. This is the actual syntax. So this is the preference. Most of the time we follow this. Even the Playwright documentation also, they mentioned the same syntax. This is a little bit old syntax, but still it will work. Okay, similarly, let me try to add some more tests which are belongs to sanity regression. Suppose if you want to add multiple tags, there is another way to do that. Okay, let me add another test. For example, let's say this is another test. So I launch the page, google.com, and I will click on the store link. Let me open this, google.com, clicking the store link here, and then I will verify something is present here or not. So I'm just verifying that page title is this one or not. So this is another test. And this test I have added with the regression tag. Tag is regression. Now, suppose I'm adding another test which is belongs to both sanity and regression. So then how we can do that? So let me try to add same test again. And this test I will change. So check the recommendations. So on the same page, we have something called our top recommendation. So this, I want to just verify the text here. So to do this, expect page dot, I will first capture the locator. After clicking on the store, I will capture the locator of the element. After clicking on the store, await page dot locator. So I will try to capture the text using CSS. Okay, what I'll do is I will try to use some text. Go back to selector hub and I'll use text equal to keep this. So one element is matching. So I'm using this inside the locator and close this. And I want to verify this locator is having the text. What is the text? This is the text. So I will put this entire thing. This is the locator actually, right? So that locator directly I will keep it here so that I don't need this statement. And this locator, I want to verify the text, not the title. So what is the method to verify the text? To have text, to have a text. So what is the text which we have here is, this is the one, our top recommendations. Okay, that's it. So this is a validation. Now just observe this. So I want to make this test for both sanity and regression. So in the previous approach, if you want to add multiple tags, you follow like this, @sanity, @regression like this. But if you want to follow this particular approach, here we specified only one single tag, here also one single tag, and here you want to specify multiple tags. So to add multiple tags, you need to put them inside the array. So tag colon, start an array, and here the first tag is sanity, comma, second tag is regression, and then close an array. So inside the array, we need to keep multiple tags. You can add n number of tags, no limit. So this is my first tag and second tag. So if you want to add multiple tags to the test, you follow this particular syntax. So if you want to add a single tag, directly you can specify tag colon, name of the tag inside the single quote. Okay, this is a way we can add. So now I have added 3 different tests. The first test is belongs to sanity. Second one is belongs to regression. Third one is belongs to both sanity and regression. So line number 14. Yeah, this is a sanity actually. The tag is sanity. So this test I have added to the sanity, only sanity. This test I have added only the regression. @ is missing. Yes. Sorry, @ is missing. @ should be there. So this is a sanity and this is the regression, and this is both sanity and regression. Now, very important crucial step. At the time of running the test, we can refer with the tag name. So by using a tag name, we can run the tests. Suppose I want to run only sanity. How many sanity tests are there in my file? How many sanity tests are there in my file? Total number of sanities, 2. First one is sanity, and the third one is also sanity. Now I want to run only sanity tests. Only sanity tests. So then how we can run it? So to run only sanity test, you need to write the command like this. Again, we use grep command. npx playwright test, specify the name of the file, -grep, specify the tag name. In the double quotations, you need to specify. For the groups also, we use the same thing. Now, let me run the test. Tagging and space. I'm not using headed mode. Let me run in normal mode. Tagging spec.ts, give one space, -grep. In the double quote, you can specify the tag name. So I want to run all sanities. So @sanity. All sanity means what? Which is also, this is the last one is also belongs to sanity, because this is also comes under sanity. So totally 2 tests we are expecting. So when I run this, it will pick only sanity tests. The tests which are tagged with sanity will be picked up. So you can see 2 tests are got executed. So 2 tests are picking, and once it is executed, both are passed. So only sanity we captured. Only sanity, the first condition. Now the second thing, I want to run all regression tests. I want to run all regression tests. Second, run all regression tests. Simply instead of sanity, you can say regression. That's it. So instead of sanity, I say regression. So this will run only regression. How many regression tests are there? How many regression? Again, 2. So the second one is also regression. Third one is also comes under the regression. So both the tests are executed. Now, my question is, I want to run the test which are belongs to both sanity and regression. Both sanity and regression. I want to run the test which is belongs to both sanity and regression. How many tests are there which are belongs to both sanity and regression? And operator should work. And means what? This is the one. Both sanity and regression means only one single test. So how to run? This is a special case. We cannot directly specify. We need to write a proper regular expression in this. So I want to run the test which are belongs to both sanity and regression. So normally how we will write the command? This is the same command. Hyphen grep is also same. But how we can specify that? If we specify hyphen grep sanity, all sanities will be executed. This will execute all the regression, but I want to execute the test which is belongs to sanity and regression, common. Which is a common test, belongs to sanity and regression. So for that, we need to use one regular expression, guys. So let me show you. Just remember only this one, but we won't use this regular expression anywhere else. This is the only place you can use. So I want to execute the test which is belongs to both sanity and regression. So I want to pick sanity. So we need to write one regular expression in like this in the bracket, question mark equal to star dot. Now specify the sanity. This is ensure only sanity present or not. In the tag, it is present, sanity is present or not, it will check. Second thing, similarly, regression. So this regular expression will check in the tag regression is present or not. In the tag regression is present or not. So now if we combine these two, combining in the sense what? We can put this one first and put this one next. Now if I combine this one, this will work as an end. So the test is belongs to sanity and regression, both. Only those tests will be picked up by this regular expression. Now I will put this regular expression after the grep in the double quotes like this. So this is the only something tricky stuff, but rest of them is easy. So only end. So if you want to run test which is belongs to both the sanity and regression, use this particular regular expression. You can note down this somewhere, so it will be very useful. Okay. Now, so let me run the test. So same test. We have only one test which is belongs to both sanity and regression. So instead of regression, I will just write this particular regular expression here. Okay, just execute. So only one test is picked up. So one test is got passed. So which is exactly belongs to both sanity and regression. So both the tags are matched. So basically what the regular expression will do, it will check the sanity is present or not, regression is also matching or not. This is one scenario. Suppose I have another scenario. I want to run the tests which are belongs to either sanity or regression. Either sanity or regression. What does it mean? The test can be a sanity or the test can be regression. It can be either. So I want to pick those tests. So let me know how many tests you will get. Either sanity or regression. So how many tests are there under this category? The run the test belongs to either sanity or regression. Sanity or regression. So will it come? The first test will it come? Yes, because it's sanity. Second also will come. Even third also will come because this is also part of sanity and regression. This will also come. So all three tests comes under this particular category. So run the test belongs to either sanity or regression. So how we can specify that? Here we don't need regular expression. We can directly use or operator. Or operator. So for example, let's say sanity or regression. So we specify at the rate sanity or pipe symbol or at the rate regression. That's it. So at the rate sanity or regression, we don't have symbol for end. So that's the reason we should write some regular expression like this. But for or, we have a symbol in your keyboard. So you can put that. So this will get all the tests which are belongs to either sanity or regression. So by default, all three tests will be executed. So now you can look at this. All three tests are executing. So this is another scenario. So run all the tests belongs to either sanity or regression. So this is another command. Now the last one. I want to run only sanity tests which are not belongs to regression. See my requirement. This is a special type of requirement. Run sanity tests which are not belongs to regression. Now you tell me how many tests you will get. I want to run only sanity which is not belongs to regression. I will run only sanity which is not belongs to regression. If I say only sanity, for example, let's say I'll say only sanity. So what are the tests will be executed? The first one will execute, which is sanity, and even last one also will execute because that is also part of the sanity. But what is my requirement? I want to run only sanity, but which is not belongs to regression. But if I look at the last one, which is also belongs to regression. So I want to just avoid this, right? I want to execute only sanity, but not regression. How we can specify that? So at the rate sanity means it will run the test. Sanity means it will pick the sanity test, but not regression. That you can specify using another option called hyphen grep invert. Invert. This is the opposite of the grep. So what is the grep will do? Grep will pick all the tests which are matching with this particular tag. What is grep invert will do? Which will pick the tests which are not having this particular tag. Okay, for example, let me show you this. So if I run only grep at the rate sanity, it will pick all the sanity tests. Currently, we have a 2 sanity tests. So they are executing. 2 tests are executing, which are tagged with the sanity. Okay. So because I just say only sanity, so it is still running. So it is still running. Just a moment. It's taking much time. Okay. So maybe some failure. So let me run once again. So just try to understand the options. I say hyphen grep at the rate sanity. So this will execute all the sanity tests. So 2 tests are running. Now both are passed. Now, other than sanity, I want to run all other type of tests. Other than sanity. All other tests I want to run other than sanity. Then you can put grep hyphen invert. This is exactly opposite. Grep hyphen invert. So what this grep hyphen invert will do? This will run all other tests other than sanity. Other than sanity. So what are the tests we have other than sanity? Only one, which is regression. So that will be executed. This is another way. Hyphen grep hyphen invert. So other than sanity, rest of the test will be executed. Now you can see only one test we have under the test, which is not sanity, which is got executed. So this is the usage of grep hyphen grep hyphen invert. Okay. Now you tell me. So the fifth requirement. So run sanity test, which are not belongs to regression. Means what? I want to run only sanity, but not regression. So how we can put the statement now? Hyphen grep sanity. So I want to execute sanity, but not regression. So hyphen grep hyphen invert. Here you can say regression. I just want to avoid regression. So this is how we need to specify the option. So I want to get the sanity test, but not regression. How many tests you will get? Only sanity, but not regression. Only one test you will get. So run it. So only one test is executed and passed. Okay, so this is how we can use these options. Tagging concept. So very important. Listen this. Okay. So these are the 5 different scenarios we have covered. So we can add tags to the test, whichever test you want. And later on, we can run the test based on the tags. So this is called tagging concept provided in Playwright. Okay. Understood, everyone? So just do one round of practice. So these are all Playwright features. Again, we are going to use them in our automation frameworks. So do practice well and try to understand grouping, then annotations, hooks, and then tags. So I will provide the notes, detailed notes for every topic. So go through this note so you will understand better. So this is for a grouping test. So we need to use a describe tag, given some examples, how to run the groups. And this is the Playwright hooks, how to use Playwright use, what is the purpose, what is the use case, some examples I have given. And annotations, so what are the different annotations are supported and how we can use, where to use, what is the syntax. And these are all annotations. And finally, tags. So how we can use the tags and how to create the tags. So we can go through the notes, and these are the different combinations of running the test with the different tags. So I have shown you 5 different types, right? So these are the 5 different types. And we can also configure the tags inside the configuration file, guys. Okay, in the configuration file also, we can configure the tag. So for example, let's say, so again, same requirement. Suppose I want to run all the sanity tests, not through the command. So just I will command normally. Okay, this is a normal command. By default, it will execute all the tests. But I want to run only sanity. So then you need to go to the config file. So here you can configure. In the config file, you can see something called, there is one option called tag. If it is not there, so we need to add that. So you can see grep. So grep we need to add. Where we need to add this under the define config. So wherever you want, you can add this grep. If it is already there, just find out. If it is not there, so we need to add that. Okay, I don't find. So trace is there, and trace, these are all part of the use, inside the use. But the grep should be outside of this. So we can put grep wherever you want. So here also you can put the grep. So grep colon, and here you can specify the tag. So how we can specify the tag? The syntax we need to specify like this. We should not put double quote or single quote. We need to specify the tag inside the backward slashes like this. So I can say backward slash at the rate sanity and backward slash. This is the syntax, guys. Okay. So this is specifying tag. Okay. Now I just specify only sanity tag and put comma also after that, because there are other options also configured. So this particular entry will make sanity. Now I'm not specifying any tag in the command. I just run it. So it will run only sanity tests. See, it is running only 2 tests. We have sanity, both are running. Same thing, whatever the options we have used here, you can put them in the configuration file. Suppose I want to run both sanity and regression, this regular expression. So I can put this in the configuration file. So sanity is done, right? So similarly, you can also put the regular expression is also allowed here. Go back and copy the regular expression. And even though it is a regular expression, we need to keep inside the slashes. This is the way. Now this will run both sanity and regression. Now run it. We have only one test under sanity and regression. So that will pick only one test. So only one test is got passed. Similarly, I will run this one. This is the one. So I want to run sanity, but not a regression. I want to run the sanity, but not regression. So how we can specify this? Go back here. So sanity I want to run, so keep this, comment this. I don't want to run the regression. So then how we can specify? Grep hyphen invert, grep hyphen invert colon, and inside the slashes, we can specify that. So what exactly we want to avoid? Regression. So at the rate regression. Just a second. Grep is working. Grep invert is not working. Yeah, just a second. Okay, so I will check it later. So I think grep invert is not allowing. Maybe let's look at the documentation, what they have given. Playwright tags. and they are also part of annotations. So you can see these are all things we have discussed again. So tag the tests. So we can specify the tag like this, fast to slow, something like this. And we can also specify inside the configuration file. So this is how we need to run all the tags. Yeah, this is the configuration file, I guess. No, they have not given anywhere. Okay, so I think that grep invert won't work here. So let's try to do this only. Okay, this won't work. Let's remove this. All right. So if you want to run this, this is the special case, guys. So if you want to run this only through command prompt, you can try. And rest of them, so you can use this one also in the regular expression, because by hyphen grep, whatever we are using, all the combination you can use it except the invert, grep invert. All other things are possible in the config file. Okay, this is the way we can specify the tag in the configuration file, and then we can run it. So most of the times, this is the approach we follow. Even once you start project and framework, so we follow this part. Okay. So grep invert. Okay, we will try. Grep invert. Okay, just a second. Yeah, this is allowing. Let me try this. It is there in documentation. Sorry, I could not find it. Just a second. Oh, okay. So here it is. Okay, grep invert. Okay, I think I put some hyphen in between them. So should not put hyphen. Just say only grep invert. So that is allowed. So grep invert regression. So now let me try this once again. So it will execute only sanity, but not regression. Again, it is giving some error. Let's see what is an error. Okay, just a comma missing. Okay, perfect. So it is working fine. So you can use this option, guys. Grep invert. Also, we can use, I will update the documentation, sanity, or you can say grep invert also. Earlier I put hyphen, so that is the reason it won't work. Okay, so understood everyone. So this is the way we can use a tagging concept in Playwright. So I will provide the documentation. So go through the documentation once again. And after that, I can just do practice, grouping, hooks, and tagging. Okay. So that's all for today's class. We'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow.